This is Curious Brain Thoughts.
Yo, 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 watcha.
Hello, Paul. How art thou?
Great.
Just calm down. Don't tell me all of the details.
Well, I have. So, enjoy them. Chew on that. Veritable feast.
That's taciturn, to say the best.
There's the tone. Isn't that like, I was trying to describe acetone and I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I was going to do that thing where I describe it as a different word and then you go, no, you idiot.
No.
Don't use my son's name in vain.
Oh, sorry about it.
No.
I'll tell you what it means. It means a person of reserved or uncommunicative speech, saying little. Taciturn.
Amazing.
It's a good word. So, Paul, we are thusly assembled, and
In the land of brain fartedness. Pray tell, how much has one's brain been farting lately?
Well, mine's going off all the time at the minute. I think I've eaten something. Well, so I have a dog, dear listeners. He is a Labrador. His name is Nigel.
Charcoal grey.
Charcoal grey. We will put a photograph of our doggos because they've been circulating around on the old World Wide Interweb. Anyway, be that very much as it may. Whatever. I take said individual for a W-A to the L to the Kizzy. I'm spelling that out because he sat right next to me.
You're showing off. Is that your English degree shining through?
That's correct. So that's when a lot of my farts occur of the brain. On the old dog walk.
On the old D-O-G-W-O-K. She's slurping on a cup of tea.
It's like when you have kids and you spell things out.
Yes.
And then they learn how to spell and you're like, dang it.
Like after A-levels, you're screwed. You just can't spell anything anymore.
Damn you, education system. Yeah. Damn your eyes.
Shake my fist at you.
Yeah, so relatively regular farts, I would say. I'm feeling quite farty in the brain department. How about you?
Do you know why that occurs?
Dietary fibre?
It's because of fermenting.
Oh. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. It is.
Say more?
Well.
Don't be taciturn about it.
Taciturn.
Taciturn.
Don't be taciturn, you're taciturn. So, just like with food, if you have certain things second, like what you should do is have fruit first.
Correct.
Before your vegetables and other food is available. Otherwise, it sits there and ferments and
it's not good, is it?
No. And then you start going.
So what are you trying to say?
That it's because things get in our twin organs. And then they sit there and ferment for a bit. And then they create gases.
They furkle.
Furkling away. Create gases and then every now and again it pops.
There's an emission.
Like it's hot.
Pop it. Like it's yacht.
Yacht. I say, Jeeves.
I say, old bean.
Which is nice. Yeah, anyway. Good.
Well, I did ask you what's your level of flatulence of the brain is.
Cerebral flatulence.
There we are.
In fact, someone called us cerebral pumpers.
They did.
Yeah.
Which we loved and appreciated.
Exactly.
Cerebral pumpers.
Yeah. So, yeah. I tend to do some pumping. Cerebral pumping with a big capital C. I tend to do mine in the shark.
This is getting worse, not better.
And as well, when I am bipedaling.
So that's the why?
Wow.
Riddle me that, Batman.
I think it's the same when you're doing something that's kind of repetitive / autopilot. You know, you're like cycling. I've done quite a lot of cycling. It's the same thing. You're sort of, your conscious mind is concentrating on staying on the bike or walking and not tripping over something or whatever. And that allows the subconscious to have a little bit of fun time.
And the repetitive physical motion.
The rhythm.
is
capital
the rhythm is going to get you.
The rhythm of the dancer.
Rhythm is a dancer, I think you'll find.
Oh, sorry, rhythm of the night. Rhythm. Oh, do you know what? I really think we should do one of these drunk.
Well, listeners might think we already are.
Fine. I've got something quite strong in my old grey.
The strongest I'm allowed is a cup of coffee because I am going to be getting behind the wheel of a motor vehicle.
Yeah.
At some stage today.
Yes. So let's not do it today.
Not today.
I'm not suggesting now.
However, if you would like to hear us, oh my God, talking. Okay.
Right.
If you've never seen this, you need to watch it. It is 100% hilarious, and it's called Drunk History.
Oh, yes.
It's where they get minor celebrities, and they did it off of America, but it's funnier if it's someone off of England who we actually know, in all honesty. So they basically feed them absolutely shed loads of booze, and then they make them tell them about a historical event.
Which become hysterical events.
And they're like, yeah, that was this geezer and they're absolutely slaughtered. It is really funny.
It is really funny.
Drunk Histories, look it up, people.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome, Drunk Histories. So feel free to what's it called when you plug? Feel free to plug Cerebral Pumpers.
Good. So we're saying that would be our version of Drunk Histories.
Let's do it.
If what I'm saying is, if the
they've all told me, yeah,
they've already called in.
Written in.
I'm just looking it up. It's on Amazon and YouTube.
Yes. No, I think that would be good, and I wonder how long we'd be able to sort of. Yeah, that would probably be an E episode.
Yes, I don't believe
expletive.
Yeah, I don't believe that would be a problem. To be honest,
no, I'm down.
And maybe that would be an episode that gets videoed.
Yeah, we might have to do some market research and see how much we need to consume before hitting record.
I'm currently not imbibing.
Right.
But our sister did tell me that you can get some very nice alcohol-free gins. I don't quite understand that. How can it be gin if it's got no gin in it? Do you get me?
Yeah.
Don't get that.
Maybe it's jout.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's without gin.
Yeah. And then you can get 0% Guinness, which is apparently very nice.
Yeah, the 0% Guinness is nice. Other 0%
Stouts
Guinness is available.
are available.
Yes. Oh, yes, good. There's also, as we're accidentally naming brands, Impossibrew is one I'd like to try.
Oh, yeah, I've not heard of that.
They are a startup, maybe a couple of years in now. I think they're on Dragon's Den, which I don't watch. It's going well so far.
Thank you, Sir Alan. You're fired.
No. I love that. Sir Alan's on the Dragon's Den. That's great, yeah. With Stephen Bartlett. And
Impossibrew.
What they've done is they've worked out the woozy agent in alcohol, and apparently you can get the same relaxed feeling through an alcohol-free beverage.
Is that right?
That's correct. I've not tried it yet. Impossibrew. You're welcome, guys. Oh my gosh.
They were on Dragon's Den. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The world's first beer with relaxing nootropics.
Love a new tropic. I hate the old tropics.
Same. They can just do one.
Get out. I'm so bored of the old tropics. Okay.
Tropic of Cancer, etc. Go away.
Other tropics are available. And you're all rubbish.
Please get out.
I'll have the new ones.
There we are.
Well, we've cleared that up.
So, Paul.
Yes, what?
I think we should utilise the RTG.
Amen.
Do it.
VG. Roll VT. Here we go.
Random theme generator. Random theme generator.
This is a bit spooky.
What?
We had a spooky... Oh no, was it spooky last time? I can't remember. Can't remember what the theme was last time.
Don't look at me.
Procrastinating, I felt was spooky at the time because it turns out that we had been procrastinating.
And it was a case study in procrastination.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. It was, absolutely was.
Oh, I love that for us.
Yeah, that's great. Well done.
Look
Developing
in that,
every day.
Look in that mirror.
Oh, gosh. Oh, dear. This is weird
Why?
because serial interrupters.
Pardon?
I was just trying to say that the theme for today is serial interrupters. I'll give you loads of time to cut in then. Did a great job. I love that. Smashed it.
I don't know why you set me up like this. I'm just the stupidest person when it comes to jokes. Every single joke, including ones in crackers, have to be explained to me. The jokes on the back of penguin bars have to be explained to me. Why you thought I had the wit and capability
It's because I think very highly of you.
to actually do that, I don't know.
Great. Super.
Oh, I'm really good at lots of other things, but a quick wit is not one of them.
Indeed. Now, that's amazing.
Just tell us what the theme is. I'm not being funny.
Hold on a minute. I have a funny feeling.
Stop making that noise.
Why?
You're scrambling the dog's brain.
Scrambling the dog's brain. Do you know what? I've got a funny feeling this has come up before.
What is the theme? And I'll tell you.
Serial interrupters.
I don't know.
Oh. Do you know what? I'm wondering if... Yeah. No. I were right. The random theme generator did not provide associated email.
Oh.
Hashtag disappointed.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
That is poor form.
Hi Paul. Hi Lou. I gave a suggestion for one of your podcasts and then I had a brain thought. Also had a brain fart and thought of a few more. I'm curious if you could have a little tickle on one or more of these. Here goes. And it turns out in this email is serial interrupters.
Oh my God, that is spooky.
Spooky.
So the RTG's failed to link its randomness with the email.
I think we've got to check the API.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. There must be some sort of issue in the ASIC because the switching obviously didn't happen properly.
I just said that
to
myself. Because it was so obvious. I didn't feel it needed to be said out loud.
No, you're absolutely right. So that comes courtesy of Marco off of Newbury.
Yes, Marco.
All right.
Finger snaps to Marco.
Slay.
Slay queen. When I say things like that, my son's like, God, Mum, shut up. What did I say the other day? I said something and he was like, he looked at me absolutely seriously and he said, never say that again. It is so dead.
Was it that? Did you say slaps in the wrong way? That slaps my thigh.
No, I didn't. I can't remember even what it was, but in my head, that was a relatively current bit of youth speak. And for him, it was like long dead.
Bear calm.
It's like you're such a loser to even utter that phrase. And he wouldn't, Yeah. So anyway, I can't remember why I said that.
No, I don't either. And thank you for the serial interruption.
Yay!
Now, so this Marco off of Newbury.
Polo.
Marco off at Newbury.
Aye.
He presents us with a challenge.
Ooh, come on, Marco.
Well, I don't know whether it was deliberate or not, because we normally start the theme with what do you call it? Definition.
We do. So define it.
Yeah, well, I'm just working on it. Thanks for all your help. Serial interrupter.
He said, with no trace of passive aggression.
Interrupting definition. This is all pre-planned, obviously.
Right.
Per the
Slick is the word I would use.
That is absolutely us. Yeah, I mean, you're spot on.
I know.
Keep padding because I'm still looking.
Slick as the day is long.
Oh.
Well, serial means time after time. And interrupting is...
Sorry?
So serial interrupters are people who just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I think we're just going to go with that.
Right.
Because apparently, according to Google,
which is the oracle of all things.
Of internet searches, other search engines are available. You can get it in computers and all that. And like you can do serial interrupt in microcontrollers.
What's that then?
Moving on.
Did he mean that, do you think?
No. I think he was going more down like...
Did he want us to have an electronics discussion?
No, totally. He's like, oh yes, Chris brain farts that tends to spend all of its time talking about electronic components.
I'm just going to say read the room, Marco, if that is what you meant. Read the goddamn room, boy.
So, maybe it's appropriate I just... No, that's fine. So, Marco, here we go, serial interrupters. So... Serial, time after time, interrupters, keep on...
Interrupting.
Oh, legend. There was loads of sign language involved there. I was holding up a sign, flashing lights, everything.
All of it, and I eventually just about managed to come in on cue.
Eventually.
Why do people interrupt? Let's begin there.
What's the purpose of interrupting, Louise?
What? Well,
let me stop you.
Oh my God! I waited to think. I'm thinking he's not going to do it again because even Paul isn't that much.
Oh, that was so funny. Let me stop you there.
Oh my word. I think you're finding that funnier than me.
It's because it's so rubbish. Oh my gosh, we're slick. This is Slick.
You are welcome.
This episode is brought to you by Slick Productions.
So, are we able to talk about this without laughing?
Fine.
Fine. Why do people do it?
Yeah, I asked the question, what's the purpose of an interruption? So I tell you what, we could look at the definition of that. Yeah. Interruption, definition of interruption.
The thing about interruptions, and again, I mean, we did say this a bit when we talked about procrastination a week or two ago, but you can view it as a negative thing, but it doesn't always have to be.
Stop the continuous...
Lord.
Stop the continuous process of an activity or process.
What? That's a really rubbish definition.
That's one. Break the continuity of. Rubbish. Cambridge says to stop a person from speaking for a short period by something you say or do. Ouch. My tea interrupted me then.
That, my friend, is karma.
Chameleon. Anyway, so why interrupt?
I'm sorry, this is just going to be an absolute shit show.
Oh, there goes the E. Right, fuck it, might as well put an E on it.
If you're going to swear, if you like it, then you should put an E on it.
Oh my goodness.
Right, moving on. Okay,
Yeah.
good. And interruptions.
Oh, right, I'm going to try.
We've got the sillies,
Oh,
Paul.
no. Being interrupted by our giddiness. So I'm going to try and get us on track. Here we go. Eyes down looking for a full house. Serial interrupters being people who constantly interrupt and maybe therefore are disruptive. They constantly interrupt during meetings, interactions. Might be in your friendship groups. Someone's always like, oh yeah, no way, and starts chiming in on something. You're not able to get a thought out or whatever without someone else jumping in. What is going on with serial interrupters?
Well, I think it is all about them, their point of view, their perspective. And I think that Paul's just having a laughing fit, everyone. So I'm just going to keep talking while he composes himself. It's all about their ability to be on somebody else's page, not their own, to listen, not just wait to speak. Or So it's all of that stuff. I think that if somebody is a serial interrupter, my perspective on it is that's born out of some kind of insecurity within them, which needs them to dominate the space, the conversation, the opinion, the meeting, whatever.
They're also not celiac.
That's poor. That is poor.
Well,
Piss poor.
oh yes, we've got an E on this one.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I forgot. I agree. I think if it can be really frustrating being on the receiving end of a serial interrupter. It's very frustrating when you don't feel like you've got the space to draw breath because someone's got to jump in and another thing. And then looking at it differently as what is going on for that person, there's often a lot is going on for that person. Their level of self-awareness may not allow them to see what it is that they're doing. They may be trying to be really supportive. And, I know what you mean. Let me tell you about a time when. They might struggle with silence, even micro silences. They might just want it to all be about them. There's lots of things that are going on, I think, with serial interrupters. And I guess something that we could explore is how can we help ourselves to regulate ourselves, steady ourselves when we're with a serial interrupter?
Yep.
And how can we gently and compassionately offer some support to the serial interruptor?
So I think that there are levels of this. The most overt and the most obvious is obviously when somebody's not even allowing you to finish a sentence before whatever their intent, that's the most obvious. But there's also that subtler form of it where somebody they allow you to finish your thought, but they immediately shift it. That shift response. So it interrupts you being the focus.
Or the flow.
Or the emotional space that you're creating. It interrupts that and shifts it away back to them. And there's somebody I know who does that a lot. And they're a good, kind, lovely person. They really, really are. My sense of it is that there's just a real discomfort with other people's and their own, struggles, difficulties, and that's not a lack of compassion at all. Although it can feel like there's no space for you. So I think it's very difficult to be on the receiving end of a serial interrupter in whatever form, however subtle, because it does diminish the amount of space that's available for you.
Yeah.
And I think for me personally, when I come across people like that, we all come across people like that, I try and acknowledge that this isn't about me.
Yes.
It's about a struggle that they have, and this is how that struggle is being shown.
That's right.
And, what I don't tend to do anymore is start doing a tit for tat interruption or, I just kind of take a pace back and look at, okay, this is clearly something they're struggling to read the room. And I then maybe would, if it wasn't just me and that individual, it's me and a group, like in a meeting setting, I would step into a more facilitatory mode and actively engage other points of view or think of a different way, a non-verbal way of getting perspectives out.
Yes.
So I would change my tack if I was running a session with a serial interrupter in it. Interpersonally, so in other words, for me it's about taking a step back and creating distance, recognizing their positive intent, but ultimately they're unable. My experience is that by and large their behavioral flexibility is limited. You need to flex around.
I'm totally with you, and I think there's a couple of really interesting points there. One is the one-to-one relationship dynamic and how that works, and the other is the group. So taking the one-to-one, serial interrupters, as you've just, not repeating what you've already said, over time, my experience is it can feel like they are treading all over your own boundaries. And that you are being negated more and more. Yeah. Because, as you said, there's no room for anything else or anyone else other than the serial interrupter. Pulling it back, or in whichever way. That becomes very, very difficult and can reach the point where you have to make a decision on where your boundaries are. Yeah. You either redraw them for that particular person, and if that doesn't feel okay, then you need to make some other bigger changes into how you do things. which can be difficult. And that can start with a conversation, a very gentle conversation about how you're experiencing those interactions. And if none of that works and other things that you try work, then you have other choice. You've always got a choice.
Always.
As does the other person. And the behavioural flexibility is a really, really crucial point here. In the group dynamic, in the work that Lou and I do, and we haven't banged on about any of that.
In a minute we'll do that.
In a minute, all right. In the work that Lou and I have done, we've encountered many, many, many serial interrupters, both in an overt way and in an acute way and in all sorts of different ways. And our role in those kind of settings is always as the facilitators. We are helping to get from A to B. And it's interesting because that is actually one of the most powerful roles to take in order to help a group move on.
Mm.
So even if you're not an official facilitator of whatever, a meeting, a workshop, or it doesn't matter, and there are one or two persistent serial interrupters, assume the role of the facilitator, which starts with asking questions.
Yep.
Connected to where it is you're trying to go. And if that isn't clear, ask, where is it we're trying to go?
Agreed. And I think that your point around boundaries is true in a collective space as well. If there aren't any, sometimes these things are tacit, they're not overtly agreed, but if you're finding that there is a serial interrupter in a project or a meeting or a workshop or whatever, you can actually, if you're assuming that facilitator role, with the group, facilitate that agreement of boundaries.
Yeah.
And so then when the serial interrupter inevitably steps over said boundaries, you can very kindly say, and now it's this person's time to speak, and we're coming to everybody. So that's a really great point. Write it down. We're going to come back to it. Whatever. So boundaries are key. Withdrawing your personal boundaries, establishing collective boundaries, because then you've got an edge. Then you've got something, because this poor person does not realise. If they actually do, I think it's much rarer for them to realise the impact of their behaviour. If they do realise it and they still choose to do it, then something different is going on. But, it's always my belief that whatever the behaviour, that is the consequence of a good and kind person showing up and doing their best.
It's often, I think about these kind of things as an outward sign of an inward state.
Yes, agreed.
And so it doesn't matter, like if you're really happy and joyful, you can be really happy and joyful in a way that reflects someone who is hurting as much as someone who is, really genuinely happy and joyful internally. And so a serial interrupter, there's a myriad of reasons as to why. I think in the more we're talking about this, the thing that is most important with almost all situations, maybe all, I don't want to say that, in lots of situations, is how we manage ourselves. Because I cannot control you if you are a serial interrupter, because that's not down to me.
No.
And things that have happened to you that have brought you to this place, I can't control or influence.
No.
What I can do is control and influence how I show up, how I choose to carry myself.
100%. And ultimately, as with everything, that's the only choice there is. Sorry, Paul's just done something to the wires of his headphones, which has made me laugh.
I was modelling for you another way of interrupting.
There we are.
I didn't say a word.
No, you didn't say a word. It's very true. It's very true.
Check me out.
Yeah, that's a good one actually. Using your body, using a sigh, an eye roll. It's all very passag, but it's also interrupting, just the way that somebody shuts the door or enters late into there's so many ways. And ultimately it's a look at me. I need this external validation for whatever reason. I need to feel heard and seen, literally all the time.
Well, the other thing that popped into my head was avoidance. Because I could interrupt something, stop something from happening, because I don't want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go over to this other place.
So it's a smoke screen.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it's a great avoidance tactic for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, actually. It can be. So it's really deep and quite complicated. And ultimately, if you're not the person who's doing all of the interrupting, it's not about you or for you, but it does need your flexibility to manage it.
Manage yourself.
And yourself.
We've been watching this American TV series, which has quite a lot of toxic work culture in it, called Suits. About some New York lawyers and blah-de-blah, whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is, from a work culture, it's really interesting, that they are going, 16 hours a day. Anyway, that's another thing to talk about. The point is, serial interruption is a strategy.
They're lawyers, aren't they?
That's right.
People.
They're lawyers. And so, I'm the plaintiff, whatever that means. Whatever. Mm-hmm. If you want to know more about law, email curiousbrainfarts@gmail.com. And, so I'm on one side and I'm positioning whatever it is I'm positioning. And then the other side they are serially trying to interrupt and disrupt whatever your strategy is.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is used in a work context as an actual strategy. It's interesting, to be a serial interrupter, then the other side not being able to get up any head of steam because every move you make, you're interrupting them.
Mm. It's a form of, in that context, it's a form of manipulation to get your outcome achieved.
100%.
And I was just thinking, to what extent is an entrepreneur who starts startup after startup in a certain sector to try and achieve try and get it. They're a serial interrupter, but of a direction of travel of a whole, sector or part of business or whatever. So again, interpersonally, it's really difficult to manage it, and we talked about, people being disruptive and and then disruptors. It's not all, in other words, it's not always negative, but context is king. And interpersonally and in human relationships, it is not something most people want to be around, basically. So what you end up finding is the person who is that serial interrupter at whatever level, ultimately, if you've tried all sorts of different strategies to put your point of view across and so on and so forth, and talk about the impact and all sorts of things, ultimately your choice is to distance.
So, serial interrupters. The main thing I've taken away from this is it is more about how I manage myself, and when it's with a group, how I can be supportive of, contribute to the group, as opposed to focusing on the serial interrupter, because what's going on for them is about them.
Yes.
And I need to focus on me and be about me.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to need to sort of wrap it up, toot sweet, before we get serially interrupted by the power, because I just realised we're on battery.
So before we do get serially interrupted by said power, it's worth just saying a couple of words about some of the things that we're up to at the moment. Paul and I run a business called Connect How together, where we do change facilitation.
What does that mean?
What it means is we facilitate change.
Hell.
Hell yeah, brother. So it's about whatever change actually in organisation. This is us as an organisation working with other organisations. You want something to be different, we will help you achieve whatever that is. And we do coaching, including self-coaching. So we do that with organisations. Paul and I also have our own coaching practices where we work with individuals. Paul's is called Curious Minds Coaching. .co.uk, and mine is Lou Coaching, lou-coaching.com. Now, the reason we're saying all of this is because we are beginning a collaboration, because we're not collaborating enough.
No.
So
I only see you like 90, 70
we want
times
to
a day.
up that percentage.
Love that.
Right? So our coaching practices, we are collaborating because we are coming across and see a lot of people #open to work, that little frame you put on your LinkedIn profile. And we have worked with people who have been in that space. It is challenging, it is difficult, it can go on for some time. Whether you are out of work or whether you are just in a job that makes you actively unhappy enough for you to want to look for another one. So we are beginning a group coaching program, and it's going to be kind of a 6-week vibe. And so we just want to give you the heads up that that's on the way.
Because the point of that is that it is setting you up for success. The reason being, knowing that you need to update your CV and you need to apply for jobs and you need to position yourself and blah, blah, blah. There's tons of that out there. What there's less of is how to get yourself into the right headspace, how to shape and train your mindset, how to form new habits and behaviours around the types of things you're trying to do, how to connect to a real sense of purpose behind why you want this particular change, why you need this change, etc., etc. So we're focused more on the squidgy bits as opposed to the papery bits.
Because the papery bits are like Paul says, there's tons of advice out there. Just Google that, Shizwad. There's loads
ChatGPT
of really helpful stuff. #ChatGPT. That's relatively straightforward. Although I am working with somebody actually who finds, so there's a mindset link.
Yes.
And they find it so hard to do the CV, for example. And this person is a writer. That is their literal business. But when it comes to writing about themselves in this more official business context, they really struggle. So the point I'm making is, that transformation comes from the mindset, not from watching a YouTube video about how to write your CV, because they know that.
Yes.
It's
good.
So anyway, that's in the post as 'twere.
Yeah. In fact, by now
It's probably been
out
posted.
Yeah.
So,
With
but
waxy
just
light.
F to the Y to the is A.
All right. All that shizwad. Was this the sweary one? I can't remember.
I don't bloody know.
Don't start, because then I'll put an E on it.
If you like it, then you anyway.
Should have put an E on it. Right, I'm going to interrupt you now. Right then, so...
See you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I'm off now, bye.
Bye.
Stop it.
Later.
CuriousBreakfast.com. Oh, there's a joke. What did the surprise cow say?
Moo.
No, that's not it. There's another. It's something to do with that. Anyway, bye. Do you know what? I'm so pleased we didn't hit stop.
Why?
I've just remembered the joke.
Amazing.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Surprise cow.
Surprise.
Moo!
That made me jump. That was really loud in me headphones.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks.
Now we're really off.
Pardon?
Bye.
Curious Brain Thoughts.